I'm Bella Parisi.
I'm Finn Sosky.
I'm Sam DeWert.
I'm AJ Van Buren.
I'm Luca Pasailich.
And we are on time. So when I was younger, it was custom for my brother and I to be late to every game, practice, or rehearsal. There was no winning between my parents' full-time jobs and mine and my brother's extracurriculars. And although both my parents worked full-time, my mother definitely had it the hardest. She was an elementary school teacher, so she got out of school at around the same time as us. Great, right? Well, not so much, because she had zero time for herself. She was 100% responsible for picking up and dropping off my brother and I wherever we needed to go. Parenting was a puzzle that she had figured out perfectly, but these few pieces she couldn't quite fit. So my mother looked a bit like this, really stressed all the time. Our schedule looked a bit hectic like this, and my brother and I were frequently left waiting for our ride. But we discovered that my mother was not alone. 42% of parents have risked their jobs for their child's transportation needs, and I've spent my whole life bearing witness to the weight, stress, and chaos on a mother's shoulders trying to coordinate rides for their kids, so we decided to help parents put this puzzle together. So we came up with Own Time, which is a local rideshare service dedicated to providing safe and reliable rides for kids whose parents are caught up in their busy and active lifestyles. So the way that we work is parents will reach out to us through our most successful marketing strategy, which has been word of mouth, and they will try to set up a time with us, and we will send them driving matches who are available for that time. And we have automated texts that will be sent to them after they choose the driver, which parents have full control over. So parents will receive texts when the driver is on their way to the pickup, when they arrive at pickup, and at the drop-off location when the final ride has been completed. And parents will also have the driver's location throughout the entire duration of the ride. So we'll be providing the most safe and reliable rides that we possibly can, where parents have full control and we have high standards of safety policies and service for parents' comfort.
That brings us to our UVP. So we get our customers and we give them locally based drivers, which gives them a sense of comfort and community. We also allow for repeat drivers, which brings us apart from any other competition. Our competition, like Uber and Lyft, are not tailor-made for children. They're meant for an older demographic and longer distances. And we have found out that parents they don't feel safe with putting their kids in the backseat of a stranger's car, which they haven't had prior or any communication with at all. Our customer is typically between the ages of 35 and 50, which does fluctuate. Our user is a set age between 8 and 15. We have brought these age block because any age under 8 requires a booster seat, and we have found out that parents don't want that to be a responsibility of the driver, and they'd rather just drive themselves until they get up to age 8. And then we got 15 because typically in Barrington, kids get their license at 16 and no longer need our service. And for our total addressable market, we have been up to 7.5 billion, and then our serviceable addressable market is 1.2 million.
Now with our MVP. We tested two parts of our MVP, one being our key metrics with the number of riders, drivers, customers, and rides given, and hopefully in the future, our website and as many customers that come onto our website and purchase through our website, and next being our revenue streams. And we were hoping to find a suitable pricing that would be well for the driver and the customer. Some of our goals for our key metrics were to have returning customers. From the last time you guys met with us, we've only had one returning customer, and now we have 8 that have asked for multiple rides that we have given. Next would be our external drivers that are outside of Own Time. Before, we didn't have any, and now we only have 1. And that was the main problem with our test. We had 1 external team driver, and they carried out their role perfectly, but it seemed that team drivers were not willing to give rides due to other external complications with jobs or sports or after-school activities. Some of the goals we had with our revenue streams was to come to a balanced pricing point, and we ended up doing that after a few attempts. At first we had $1.50 per mile, and then Own Time would take a 30% cut of that. The problem was, if the ride was around 12 minutes or more, it would be $2 too expensive for the customer and they would not be willing to pay for that time allowed. They would much rather do it themselves. And next would be $1.25 per minute, and own time would take a $3 base fare of that. And that would accommodate the middle period between 10 minutes and 15 minutes, but any time greater than that, they didn't think it was worth doing the route.
And this leads us to our current final pricing model, and we were able to come with this with customer feedback as well as an incentive for the driver to keep driving with a fair price. So how it works is in time blocks. So for rides 5 minutes or less, we charge the customer $7, and from that the driver receives $5 and on time receives $2. And then for these, it's a linear rate. So for the customer, we charge $3.50 for every time block moving forward, and then the driver receives $3 per time block more, and then 50 cents more for on time. And then this worked because for the longer rides, parents were still willing to pay this price, as well as $20 is also a good price for the driver to continue to give these rides. And then these are results for this year, and we were seeing higher numbers in April because of spring sports where in full strength, so there was more rides available. And then for May, we project around 28 rides, giving only 50% of the way through. And then so far, $287 of profit we've received from giving rides and fluctuating from different time blocks. And then, as Peyton said earlier, a total of 8 repeated customers. And for our year 1 through 5 projections, starting at $2,550 and ending at $40,000 at the end of the 5 years, it's about $38,000 difference. And then for channels, we would charge directly through Venmo, and this is because it's no transaction fee, easy to use, and it's quick acting. And then for our marketing, previously we had tried with flyers, with QR codes, but that wasn't really working. So our best way was a direct customer approach while they were in the midst of their problem. So for example, it would be a stressed parent with 2 kids at Camlin trying to coordinate a ride. And when we were able to go directly talk to them face to face, they were willing to listen, and most importantly, they were willing to pay for the service. And then this is the results. We talked to about 200 parents, and 54 of them agreed, leaving us with a 27% conversion rate. And then for our cost of goods sold, there are none, and this is because prior to a ride, there's no pricing that has to be implemented beforehand. But in the future, it would be like startup and website maintenance.
For our own time, any potential capital that we acquire will be used for the following. Firstly, for drivers, we are asking for $150 due to our freemium model that does not charge customers for first-time rides. This is so that we can be able to pay our privately contracted drivers. Secondly, we are asking for $180 to hire a website developer to create a functioning website that will streamline our service, making the process of finding and requesting a driver seamless for customers. And finally, down the line, we plan on using $80 of marketing costs to be able to buy advertisements on strategically chosen social media platforms such as Facebook or Instagram, which our customers tend to be using the most. And on top of that, we have $0 worth of accumulated losses and a liquidity cushion of $670, making our total uses of capital $1,080. And our current exit strategy for On Time is to sell in 5 years to strategic buyers such as Uber or Lyft, at which point our company will be worth approximately $73,500. With a simple cash investment of $1,080, there is the potential to make 7 times your original investment in 5 years' time with an internal rate of return of 56.2%.
So we are asking for $1,080 for 9.3% ownership of our company with a post-money valuation of $11,645. Thank you.
Get your entire bag with On Time.
I think if I'm remembering back in February when you guys presented, I had a question about what regulations might exist in terms of providing professional, I think, what is it, livery services. Do you guys do any research on how legal it is to have a business that's not licensed?
We talked to a lawyer about it, or the lawyer that we talked to, and he said that the only thing that we would need to worry about is building up a contract that we would have our drivers and parents both agree to, and that contract being insurance, so they're completely aware of what the drivers are agreeing to and what they're agreeing to like put their kids into, and didn't see any problem with it.
Is part of that contract, I'm assuming liability insurance if an accident were to happen?
I don't know if we actually really talked about that specifically, but
That was the thing that kind of popped into my head. I was kind of wondering what the relationship between your company and the drivers are, whether it's an employee-employer relationship, what's it kind of contractor relationship.
independent contractor.
But unfortunately, whenever someone gets hurt in a car accident, typically everyone who's involved in the process gets sued, no matter whether they're culpable or not. So, maybe a thought for kind of your costs, maybe insurance, just to make sure that your company is covered for the type of work that you're considering doing.
Because it's an independent contractor, I think the liability would go onto the driver because it is separate from our company. It's just
No.
it's a matchmaking.
Unfortunately, a plaintiff's attorney is going to come up with plenty of reasons why you didn't properly vet this person, or you knew something that you should have known. I'm not saying that they're correct. I'm just saying it's going to take 2 to 3 years for you to prove you're correct, and it's a lot of legal fees. And it's typically a lot of legal fees.
Out of those 28 to 31 rides you provided during March and April and May, how many of those rides are unique? Like how many different people made up that 30 per month?
So in the first month, we had one repeating customer, and they had about 3 rides from that one customer, and the rest were all separate. And then the next month it was 2, and then not until May we had like 8 customers that repeated rides, and that was one customer repeated 2 rides, others would repeat 4 separate rides, and then one repeated like 7 rides.
How many failed requests were there? Like customers wanted a driver, but they couldn't get one.
So we had 1, and that's all because one external driver said they were going to, and then something last minute came up and they weren't able to. So that ride was left to me, so I drove and I picked up the kid, did all the,
Good for you. Good.
so
For you. How far in advance were these initial rides that you've had over the last 3 months scheduled?
Oh my gosh.
they were advanced. One was advanced like 2 weeks ahead, and then others were like
Very short
2
notice,
days
yeah.
ahead. So sometimes we were scattered to get a ride, but
Yeah.
other times we were very well prepared.
I think that's the thing though, that's like the thing that parents need help with, is it's a lot of the times, it's not like, just moving. A lot of the times, it's not like, parents know like 2 weeks ahead of time, oh, I'm not gonna be able to take my kid these 3 times, it's last minute, something comes up, and then they need our help, so it's like our responsibility to be there for it.
But I did have a parent that their kid had a baseball pitching lesson every Tuesday at 6:30. So at 7 o'clock, I would go and I would pick up the kid, and that was 3 weeks in a row.
How much time did you put into trying to unpack the difficulty in attracting drivers, like external drivers? What are the primary stumbling blocks for them? I can think of a few that might be, but like I want to hear from you. What were the?
I think for high school students, it's like the commitment, like a lot of the people that we had spoken to were busy with sports and everything. And then just that they don't wanna, they just don't wanna commit to something, like they don't wanna say, I can be here, and then they're asked to do something and they have to continually say that they can't do it.
And also, just to add on, some kids do have jobs, so they thought they were busy with their jobs, or if they did have that free time, they thought spending time at their job, making an hourly pay was more suitable than a 10-minute ride.
Any insight into the price, how, like, appetite on pricing? I mean, I know you had a pretty good pricing structure that evolved. Did you get any feedback from the parents that had a short fuse to get a driver versus a long plan, what they would be willing to pay?
So most parents were willing to pay, but some were shocked at the beginning with our original pricing model, because I drove a kid from downtown Barrington to like the upper part of Tower Lakes, and at 5 o'clock, that's
That's a long ride.
like a 21-minute ride. So I came up with the price, like anything that caps off at 21 minutes should stay at 20 minutes. If it's locally rides should only go up to that long, and if they do, the cap is nice because it's not, it separates it from Uber with that ride being $45.
But it does land the risk on you guys. I've got a question about your driver pool. Were they always teenagers? Did you experiment outside of that age range?
So we did have parent drivers.
Oh, how did that work out?
They were always busy.
Oh,
Because they're all in the same pool as all of our customers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were not able to give any rides, and
Okay.
when they did, they would have their own children.
Okay.
So that made it difficult to get parent drivers, so teen drivers ended up being a better option.
Well, good for you for testing another target.
Well, that was our idea at first. It was parents driving other parents' kids, and then it's, the problem is parents being busy, so it was.
Okay.
Have you thought of any kind of like a subscription model?
We did, that was the first pricing model that we considered, was that parents would have a subscription to our service and then continually use it for different seasons because sports are happening seasons. And then one, parents weren't a big fan of it, and two, it just wasn't bringing in the revenue that we thought it would for drivers. It just wasn't worth it for drivers. They wouldn't have made enough money off of it.
And then also, we are busy as it is, because our sports kind of line up with all the younger kids' sports, so that made it easier for us. But say one didn't, and a parent really wanted that ride, and they had like a subscription, we would have to supply that ride.
Yeah.
So that made it kind of difficult to supply every ride given.
Have you all been drivers?
The two of us have.
Can I get a ride next week?
Go to the airport.
With fuel costs increasing, have you kind of been thinking about how we guys, I know like went over recently, a surcharge for fuel by the delivery little company. So have you guys thought, kind of, well, yeah, I mean, it's their expenses are going up.
That would definitely add to the model,
Yeah.
like not cents, but it would definitely like throughout the thing, it'd go up and up and up.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's a private contractor, so we do not supply the fuel for our
Yeah.
drivers.
Right, and I guess that's my thought is that if you're having challenges finding drivers as fuel costs go up,
Right,
maybe less
it's not worth
incentive for them to drive if their costs are increasing.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Shift that over to the customer.
I mean, I do applaud your experiences that you were testing different approaches. I know right before the pandemic changed our world, Lyft was also experimenting with a subsegment of drivers where women passengers can request only a female driver, just to address the safety concerns there. What are your plans for the future?
As a group, we collectively agree that our experience is over. Like, it was really enjoyable, great experience, and we'll take our entrepreneurship skills elsewhere.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys. Good job.